Welcome to the FCO show for catchers only, a show for, by, and all about catchers. This show is presented by Catch Tech USA, and I'm your host, Will IV. Today is special. We get to sit down with the man at the doorstep of realizing a dream come true. Recently promoted to AAA of the Kansas City Royals organization, this power-hitting backstop is handling business the old-fashioned way with grit and hard work. His story reflects his brand. Nothing granted, all earned. Current professional catcher, Kale Emshoff. What's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm good, Eddie. How are you? Thanks for having me on, man.
Oh, man. Hey, it's a pleasure. This one's special because, like I said, man, I'm starting a new thing. You know, this is a brand built just for catchers. I haven't seen much out there like it. And you're my first big time interview. You know, 10 years from now, we're going to look back at this and remember the good old days, man. We'll be doing it again on the big stage or something like that, right?
Heck yeah, I'm excited to get this going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you feeling, man? Coming back in the off season, chilling out? What's up?
No, I'm good. Season went really well, and definitely you had your roller coaster parts like every player does, but ended really strong on a positive note, and looking forward to having an even better off season and get ready for next year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, hey, we got a lot to cover today, man. I got a lot of questions for you. I want to get into it. So let's take it back. Let's go back into the old days, man. What is 10-year-old Kale doing out there and on the fields and just for fun, man? What's your childhood like?
Gosh, 10-year-old Kale, I mean, football, basketball, baseball, all the sports that you could possibly do. I was a really good competitive swimmer as well. Went to state for that and actually ended up winning a gold medal. That's one thing a lot of people don't know about me. I used to be, back in my littler days, I was pretty fast in the water. I was definitely driving a tractor back then, just like I am today.
At 10 years old, driving a tractor.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just how it is when you grow up on a farm.
Yes, sir.
I also was really big in 4-H and FFA, like in the schools and stuff as well. I showed pigs all through the state of Texas and stuff. So that was my childhood.
Man, you're busy. Yeah. You're busy, man.
Busy parents. They did everything for us.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. One day, you know, in the future, you'll be raising your little ones and teaching them the same things, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, you know, with everything you had going on, man, did you have any time for, you know, competitive baseball at that age, or did you kind of get into that once you got a little bit older? How'd that work out?
Yeah. So competitive baseball really sparked for me. Probably when I started playing with S3 with Orlando Salinas.
Yep.
That's like where I got my first taste of like travel ball. Playing with guys from different schools, different areas throughout the state, going to play in other states. That was like my first taste of it. And I always tell people, like, if I'm giving a lesson or I have a really young kid who's not sure about baseball, I always tell them, like, I played my first baseball game at Oil Belt, which is a 5-minute drive from where I live.
Oh, man.
And
yes, sir.
They still play there to this day. And it's been good.
The history, man, look, the history with Oil Belt, I don't even know if it's recognized. It may need to be a documentary one day. You know how many players that have played at the next level played ball on those fields?
Yeah, it's crazy. It is really crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out. We have to do a little production or something and get Oil Belt out there because it's unbelievable, man. And you know, it's just a hometown field. You know, the community gets behind that area a lot, and just a lot of solid ball players coming out of there, you know, falling in love with the game, you know? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So we had, you had S3, which Orlando, he's awesome, man. I know him. And that kind of got you started. And then, you know, from there, man, were there any coaches, you know, back in those days that really stood out to you, that taught you some things that has always stuck with you, or anybody that stood out for you?
Starting at like that 10U age, I would say Orlando was probably first. And honestly, my mom, like she knows everything about the game, even more than I do. Wow. She is just absolutely obsessed with it.
No, that's awesome.
Later into more like teenage age, I took lessons from you for quite a while.
Yeah,
You
I
taught me
got a
some
funny
really
story
good
about that.
key aspects about catching.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, Michael Lewis was another one.
Hmm.
Did some stuff down at the batter's box with him,
Yes, sir.
and yeah, and then Luis Flores.
Hmm.
Yeah, that God, I just remembered him. Luis Flores. He used to play at Moody, I think,
Okay.
and he made it up to AAA with the Cubs,
Mm.
and he was probably like where I could go and like he actually taught me how I received to this day. Like that's who taught me how to do that.
Yes, sir.
And really,
And what age? What age was that? Like what age did you kind of come into the receiving part?
God, probably like 13 on the lighter side, I think, but maybe
Yeah.
like more like 15, I'd imagine,
Yeah.
was where I probably started with him.
Hmm.
He'd crank that machine up, and I'd just go to town
Get after it.
receiving, really trying to craft it. And you
Yeah.
know, like back in the day, and how when y'all played, it was more catch and stick.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's how I always caught before I went to him, was just catch it, whatever. And he was like, no, like it was almost like he knew where the game was going. And this was 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you that too, because I call it old school versus new school. And one of the main things, I mean, when I came up catching, I had to learn really quickly on how to be quiet, right? With my movements, and especially you got guys, back then throwing upper 90s and sliders, and I jammed my thumb up the first week of the season, because I didn't know how to receive. But now it's a whole new ball game, man. We're working underneath the ball. We're doing all types of things to manipulate the baseball. I call it new school catching, So that's good that you kind of got a head start on that, because it's definitely different now. It's definitely different.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Now, did you always want to be a catcher? Was that, are you coming up playing travel ball? I mean, always catching?
So when I started in T-ball, my parents would always be like, hey, like, why don't you just go play pitcher? Like, be in the field because you're going to do something in T-ball if you're in the field. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I wasn't scared of the ball. I wanted to get the ball, but I was like, I want to be back here. Like, I want to be where the action was. It was like, obviously, T-ball, you're not doing anything behind home plate.
Yeah.
But then, like, started working and getting older, and I was like, this is it where I want to play. Like, it's,
yes, sir.
You're in it every single pitch. That's the best feeling ever.
Yeah. Best place on the field. I say, look, I want to be back here where it's safe, because at least I know where the ball's going. I don't like no surprises in the game, and I can't play the field, and I don't know when it's coming to me. So at least I can direct it a little bit, man. So that's pretty cool. So you fell in love with it early then. You were ready to rock and roll. Yeah. Now back in T-ball, you guys had the whole gear on, the whole thing, or
no? It was just like a helmet and like a regular fielding glove, and that's where I'd want to stand, because I mean T-ball is more just standing there.
Yeah. You're still ready for that play at the plate, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Run
sir.
Stuff like that.
The game's different now, though. We can't dish out no punishment anymore like we used to back in the day, and get that collision at the plate. Those days are over. But yeah. For sure, man. So let me ask you this, man. You coming up, I know I came up in the 90s. We didn't have baseball academies. And so we had to imitate other players, right? So for that, I think for us, it helped us develop a love for the game, because we had to imitate players and watch Griffey and watch Pudge Rodriguez and all that. What about you coming up, man? Did you have a favorite player, favorite major league player?
For me, I was a big YouTube guy when it came to like modeling after players. Like that's where that's honestly like where I learned a lot of my stuff, and like the movements and like how easy it's supposed to look, how quiet you have to be.
Yep.
YouTube, like that was, I would watch Yadier Molina highlights. I'd watch Buster Posey highlights. And then Pudge was even on there. But when Salvador Perez came onto the scene, that's kind of who I kind of gravitated towards, because he's a bigger body catcher just like myself.
Right.
And I like to get wide. I stay on my feet. I like to get wide. And I feel more comfortable like that. I'm a little different now, but like still on 2 feet for the most part. But that's really tried to model myself
Salvi
in Salvi, and then lo and behold, I signed to play for the Royals. I never in a million years would have imagined that. So,
have you had a chance to work with him, being in the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a team captain. Like, that's no other way of putting it. Like, he runs that whole team without a doubt.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You start to see this too. You start looking at managers in the big leagues. A lot of the best ones, man, they used to be catchers. They're just pretty much a coach on the field. So that's awesome. Okay, so Salvi's for years. I'm a Pudge guy. This is back, in the mid '90s, where somebody gets on first base, it's fastball away all day, baby. We throwing somebody out. Is that how you are? When somebody gets on base, you want to get that fastball on the outside?
They've actually kind of made it to where we're trying to help the pitcher even more. Like, it's almost to a point they get on base and it's like, we don't care. We want that guy. And like, I could kind of see it. And sometimes if the situation's right, I will go a little more fastball away heavy. But now it's to the point where not so much fastball away, it's more fastball middle and up. And it's almost easier in a way for you, because you're not having, like, he could maybe yank a fastball away a little bit. And you could just plant and throw it, but you might lose a little arm strength. If he just throws it fastball middle and a little bit elevated, that guy at the plate is going to have a tough time hitting that. And it's in your center body of your chest, so like it should be about as clean as possible.
You can get rid of it and get it on down there, send it on out there, right?
And I had a pretty good year throwing out guys this year. Played a little more first base this year compared to catching, but like every time I caught, it was like I was throwing at least one or two guys out every game. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And you mentioned us working together. Will Rowland, who was a good friend of mine, he sent you to me. Said that, hey man, this guy hits a ton, but needs a little work on the catching side. And so I don't know if you remember this, man. I was sick to my stomach, brother. I'll never forget this. I had a catching class out at C4 out in Taft. You remember that? You used to meet me out there?
Yeah.
And I remember I woke up and I was so late. I didn't have enough time to do anything. I didn't have time to get there. I didn't have time to alert anybody. I was sick to my stomach. You remember that?
No, I don't, honestly.
Well, good then. That's fine. If you don't remember it, then it never happened. Don't worry about that. I was just telling a little story. I joke with my wife about that all the time, because I woke up and I just stared at the wall like I don't have time to do anything. I can't even alert people that I overslept and I missed a catching lesson, man. It's unbelievable. And I'm very, me, catching is a mentality, right? It's a mind state. Be professional, be a leader. The team is looking for you. So I just took that so personal. I'm 41 years old. I will never forget that day. It never happened again. It never happened again. Yeah. But I wondered if you remember that. So that's good. At least I showed up for most of them, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So let me ask you this, man. Childhood, man. I mean, South Texas is a different ball game. You guys, per capita, as far as the players that come out of this area that make it, to me, it's bar none. I mean, bigger than any other area. I mean, it just keeps spitting out talent. It's one of the reasons why I moved here. I'm from Baltimore. In my area, Randallstown to be exact, baseball's not real big. So I was the only guy that was really known for playing baseball. So when I got my shot to come to Texas and raise my son here, I wanted him to have the experience like you had, where it's, I mean, it's hot, man. You can play on Christmas if you want to, this far south, so, as far as the competition, like, you're getting on that field, man. Was it pretty fierce down here, even at a young age?
Yeah. So you definitely have to learn how to grow up pretty quick, because when you're going through those young stages, I always joke with my parents, or back in the day, we always joke like, this kid has facial hair. We're 14 years old. Like,
yes,
what's going on? And like, they're turning double plays. Like, it's nobody's business. And like diving plays. And you're just like, what am I watching right now? How am I playing in this game with this guy? Yeah. But then you just, from experience and doing it repetitions over and over, I think that's what makes Corpus Christi specifically in South Texas so nice because of the weather. A lot of these kids are growing up outside more than most up north. And I always tell my mom, I'm like, Corpus is like it'd be a pretty cool place to have a spring training complex because it's just like Florida in a way, but you're in Texas and
less rain.
Kids, they're growing up playing baseball outside. Like they're doing this every single day. And then people always say Texas is a huge football state, in which it is, but not in South Texas. South Texas is
baseball, man.
That's
yes,
all
sir.
it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And part of it too is rating players. I know sometimes we'll look at players that are coming up, even at a young age. We'll say, man, that kid's probably about 50 games behind right now. Just not even the practice part. It's just he's got to get on the field and get comfortable. And down here, obviously the weather's so good. Man, we probably get 50 or 60 more games. You would think, just on tournaments not getting canceled, and we get after it down here, man. They play. Every single, if it's not a big tournament, it's a backyard tournament over at Universal or something, just to get some work in, on the bad fields and everything. You can catch the ball there, you can catch it anywhere, So I like the attitude. It's very, very it's kind of a gritty attitude, hard nosed ball players. So but yeah, man. So okay, so childhood, awesome, farming, playing all the sports, swimming, the whole thing. High school time, you're a freshman coming into Cal Allen High, Coach Chapman over there and that organization and how prestigious it is. How was your experience just stepping on the campus over there at Cal Allen?
So the school was wonderful. A lot of friends over there, good friends with everybody. From a baseball perspective, it was definitely a little bit of a grinder. They put you through it. And I think that's Cal Allen has that football mentality, that old school football mentality where it's almost like you're in the military in a sense where you were just going to toughen you up. And that's all it was. And and it has. And for the guys that can make it through that, you have a little bit more mental strength than most, in my opinion.
Right.
And obviously, the baseball talent that goes through that school, everybody wants to go to that school because they're competing for a playoff run every single year. And just everybody that goes through there knows the game. So definitely mental grinder of a school. But God, if you come out on top, you will be stronger in the end.
Yeah, you're prepared. Yes, sir. Well, it's better them teach you than the world teaches you, because either way, you're going to learn the lesson, right? So as far as being gritty and being ready to take on the obstacles, because the world is not forgiving, brother. It'll beat you down a little bit. So, and I think both the baseball and football programs both have the most wins, right? As far as the coach, Coach Danaher and Coach Chapman both.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. From little old Cal Allen. Ain't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So, okay. So we're in high school. Were you you're a big guy, man, especially for catcher. Were you always a big guy? One of the bigger guys out there on the field, or did you have to kind of grow into it? Or
my freshman year, going into my freshman year, I was maybe 5'10", 5'11". I was a little bit on the chunkier side, but then halfway through that freshman year, I hit my growth spurt, and now I'm almost 6'3".
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit bigger bodied than most, but they always tell me or I always tell them, I'm I feel so big, too. I always say fat. And they're
yeah,
you're not fat. You're just you're muscled up. And
you're dense.
Sometimes I have to realize that's just how God built me.
Yeah. So you're gonna need it.
The catching side, my lower half stays freaking jacked. So it's
yes, sir.
Whatever.
That's good. Hey, you're gonna need it. The long season and that summer sun beating you down. You're gonna need that weight to kind of get you through. We can't be too light, but hey, that's why you're behind the plate. They're behind the plate too, man. So what about workout? Coming up in high school. I mean, man, did you take it really, really serious up front? I know usually there's a point in everybody's life where it clicks. where it's like, you know what? I'm gonna make a run at this thing. I'm really gonna try to see if I can get to the big leagues. Did it click for you back then, or how did that work out? Just developing.
I would say like my first taste of okay, I can do this at the next level was probably my sophomore summer, where I played a couple tournaments. I played one tournament in Lubbock at Texas Tech. Coach Tadlock was coming to my games, talking to my parents. He couldn't talk to me. Played one at A&M, talked to their coach, all like Childers, and just had like so much interest in that summer where I was like, okay, like maybe I could probably do this. And then from like a workout standpoint, it was more like football style workouts at that time because I didn't know, like you don't learn baseball style workouts at that age, especially in a football school. You're doing incline, bench press, squat, deadlift like that. Those were our lifts. When it was baseball season, we didn't lift. Baseball didn't lift at all. That was almost forbidden to lift the weight because they were too scared about it, like people doing bad stuff or whatever. But so that sophomore summer got my first real interest, and it kind of sparked something into me, like okay, we got to keep going, keep doing this, whatever you're doing is working. So
keep it going.
Into it, obviously, more games, more information, more research on proper ways, like proper techniques and stuff like that. And that's where I met Lewis, where he was like, okay, like we could take this to the next level and start doing other things. And that's where the receiving kind of came into play. And it wasn't really till after, going into my senior year, all my interests that happened that year kind of shut off. It kind of shut off. And then I didn't really have too many, what you call it?
Offers coming out?
Offers. I didn't have two or three offers. And I had actually signed a contract to play JUCO baseball at Wharton. My senior year.
Now, real quick, what was your dream before we move on to the school that you ended up going to? What was your dream college? Like coming up, high school, you're going through some of the workouts. What was your dream college to go to?
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
I was always a UT guy too.
Yeah.
I liked Augie Garrido. Yeah. But my sister attended A&M, and she took me to a football game where I got to watch Johnny Manziel play. And I was like,
you were done. Yeah, you were done.
I'm coming.
You were done. You were done.
Absolutely unbelievable experience.
Yeah.
And
I bet that's one of the best ways. Yep, that's one of the best ways to recruit. To get them to a football game. Let's let you drink it in a little bit. Mine was I'm from Maryland, so the Terps was the big deal for me. Yeah. But reality started to hit a little bit. I'm 5'8", 5'9". I don't pass the eye test. I'm not hitting bombs. So, I ended up having to pick a school that would play against them. I wasn't going to get any burn with them, but in that. I felt you kind of going in that direction. So I know, some of those offers started to come off the table, and you said you signed to go play at Wharton, right? Your senior year?
Yep. Yeah. Signed to Wharton. They gave me contract, whatever. And the way UIL works, you can always sign up a level. So like JUCO is like the lowest, and you can always sign up. So like if you wanted to go Division III, it doesn't infringe on any rules or whatever. You could just sign a D3 contract the next day if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And like no hard feelings, whatever.
Yeah.
And so like I signed my contract for Wharton, and later that year got offered. It's kind of a funny story. I was playing in Arizona at like a fall league kind of tournament. Got sought out by Grand Canyon University pretty hard and went to tour their campus, which is right there in Phoenix. And I was like, amazed, unbelievable. It's like its own miniature TCU in a way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Division One, but it's a private school,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
it was going to be expensive. And
Hmm.
they gave me a really good scholarship deal, and but it was still going to be like a lot of money. I think I was going to get like 75%, 70%, something like that, but it was still going to be a lot of money to pay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a big thing for me. I didn't want to make my family pay for school.
Right.
And thankfully, I got a phone call from Coach Rayleigh, who was our hitting coach at Little Rock.
Mhm.
And he was like, hey, Ryan Duke, who was a student coach at Cal Allen, just reached out and said, like, hey, we have a catcher. And we're looking for a catcher. Would you want to come on a visit? And I was like, absolutely, let's go.
Yeah.
Went, visited, and compared to Grand Canyon, it's nothing compared to Grand Canyon.
Right. Yeah.
The field was pretty cool. I like the field, but like just sketchy, bad part of town, not the best.
How'd they flip you?
The people there were amazing. And so Russell Rayleigh, like I said, my hitting coach, but Coach Curry, Chris Curry, he's the one who like he flipped me. Like we toured campus, whatever, had lunch, and we went to his office, and he was like, so obviously it's not Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
But if you want to play in the big leagues as a catcher, you'll come here.
Oh, man. Right. Yeah.
He was drafted 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Played at Mississippi State, drafted 3 or 4 times, and as a catcher, so like.
Right. Oh, man. You're right. The people matter more than the facility, for sure. People matters more, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was a great 4 years of my life, a learning experience, and he definitely got me to where I am today. So
let me, okay. So this is Arkansas Little Rock, right? Trojans. You're a Trojan now. Were you always a power hitter? You're just dropping bombs at all times at the age of 10, all the way up to then, or did something happen where you figured it out a little bit and just started hitting the ball a long way consistently?
Yeah, so I've always had a more power side to me, but always I wouldn't go up there and try to hit home runs. I was more of like, okay, I have power. That's great. I'm going to go get on base. I'm not going to try to hit home runs. And if they go out, they go out.
There you go.
And then it kind of like more with repetitions and stuff and more plan and approach and kind of like defining it down to just a few specific pitches and locations and stuff. It kind of brought out the power side more and more. So
yeah, gotcha.
That was my thought process on it. Early college years, I didn't really understand the plan and approach. I didn't understand it. Like Coach Rayleigh, he tried, great hitting coach. He tried, like I could not get
couldn't get
the mental aspect of fastball middle away. You're hunting that. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. And then like sophomore summer, like I really hammered down on it on my own and kind of changed my swing up a little bit. I wasn't so upright. I was more like kind of in there, like on the plate, over the plate. It allowed me to see the ball so much better. And I can make split second decisions on 1.5 balls off or in or whatever. It just kind of exploded from there. And then junior year was going to be the year, my draft year. And
yes, I want to get to that. Hold on, hold that point, because I don't want to go too quick, but I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into that for sure. So let me ask you again, when it comes to the approach, you mentioned fastball middle away. Explain what that means. Like, are you hunting that every single pitch and just adjusting to anything else? Are you trying to drive it up the middle, right side? What's the approach when you go up to the plate? What's your approach when it comes to that?
Yeah. So when I talk to high school hitters, this is how I learned it best. I told them, I was like, there anybody who has like any thought process when they step in the box. So like young kids don't really know. Young or older guys, they're kind of like looking for certain things, whatever, but it's not defined. I told them, when I'm stepping into the box, this pitcher is not going to get a fastball middle away by me. He's not going to. I don't care if I hit a deep fly ball for an out. He's going to know, oh, shit, he's right on it. Like, I'm not going to throw that again. But now, if you're on time, if you're truly on time for a fastball middle away, and he throws any breaking ball that's up in the zone, over the plate, you can adjust.
Yeah.
Like split second, you can adjust and you can hammer it to left field.
There you go.
That's my thought process.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now to work on that cage time, are you just driving the ball the other way every single swing, or how do you work on that on your own without a ball being thrown to you?
Yeah, so I'm a big tee guy. I use it to get loose. I love to just go by myself, nobody else, and just hit off the tee. For my swing, I have to always think more, not right field, but like center field to right center. It's like I am trying to hit a low line drive. I don't want a lofty line drive. I want a rocket line drive. And it cleans up everything else. Cleans up everything else.
There you go. There you go. All right. So we're getting ready to approach that 2020 season because, man, look, you were acting a fool on that field, man. I mean, you're tearing the ball all over the field. I mean, you're having a year that is unbelievable, you know, just red hot, leading everything. And then all of a sudden, what happens? What hit? 2020, COVID. The pandemic hit. Unbelievable. And I kind of mentioned in the intro about your story, basically, you know, backing up the mantra that you live by. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about Seams apparel later on. But, you know, nothing given, you know, it's earned. Man, you got a story, brother, because it's one thing after another where things should work out one way and it doesn't. And you can either, you know, fall down and quit, or you can get back up and keep going. And so take me through that 2020 season, man. You're hot. Things are going. And then you get the announcement that the pandemic has shut things down, man. Where were you at mentally with things?
Man, mentally, I was about as top as you can get. Like I was happy. Everything was going good. You know how baseball is. If everything's going good, you're seeing the ball good, you're catching good, team's winning like that, like it's the greatest feeling ever. And then the excitement on the draft that year, like it's going the way I want it. I have a chance at this. Like I could actually be where I want to be. And what I was being told from scouts, coaches, or whatever is that I'm going to be on a normal draft, be anywhere from 3 to 6 in the third round or sixth round, whatever. I was like, awesome. Like that's better than I could have imagined. I wasn't really expecting anywhere that high or whatever. An issue with that was I had TJ the year before, but I was stronger than ever at that point, and it kind of didn't play a factor. But teams see that.
Tommy John, TJ Tommy John for your arm? Oh, okay. So you had that working against you too. That's your sophomore year.
That was 2018. That was going into my junior year.
Okay, going into your junior year. Oh, wow. Man, okay.
But stronger than ever, rehab, whatever. But yeah, and so like we started that season, and I'll start in the fall. That's where I'll start. I had a great fall. We went to Mizzou for a 2-game doubleheader series, kicked their butt. Like I had a day. Like I went like 7 for 9, I think, with a walk, 2 homers, a double, single, a sac fly, like just absolutely went off.
Showing off.
And against like their Friday guy, Saturday guy, closer, like dudes. And so ended up going into season, red hot season. We played 14 games. I had 7 homers. I was like third. I was like top 3 or top 5 in the country in average, OPS, on base, RBIs, I think, like just absolutely going off.
You're right.
And we ended, our last game was at Southern Miss in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and ended on a win. Had a great day, had a homer that day. And then we went home to get ready. We were going to open up with conference play in the Sun Belt. And I forgot, we had like a practice day, like just normal, but we were seeing everything on Twitter. I believe like the Ivy League schools were the first ones to shut down.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we were like, that's kind of crazy. Like they're shutting down. They're going home.
Yeah.
And like an hour later, we got a message from coach like, hey, team meeting tomorrow in the stands, spread out.
Like, oh my goodness.
And this was the same day that UT Arlington was going to drive up and we were going to play that night.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits us down. We're all there outside. He's like, guys, I don't know how to say this. Nobody knows what's happening, and they're canceling our season. And
oh my goodness.
I went home the next day, and that was it. And had more talks with him. He was like, you have nothing to worry about. You're going to get drafted, all that.
Right.
And that's another story.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, did you kind of feel like, all right, the season got canceled, but man, the kind of work I just put in, I mean, I couldn't have ended it on a higher note. You didn't have a chance to go backwards, so did you kind of feel that way?
100%. Like I'm saying, like the Tommy John, I didn't get to play at all that year.
Right.
And I know they saw me for 14 games in the whole fall. They've already seen me.
Yeah.
Like,
what else you need?
As it gets right now, like it's, they know what they're getting, and I've done my part. Basically, is how I felt.
There you go. Well, so take me to draft day. The season just got canceled. I mean, how much time did you have before the draft day came up? I mean, once the season canceled, you a couple months, or what'd you have?
Yeah, it was a few months. We were just home and had graduation in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And the draft, that was crazy. So the draft, for people that don't know, they limited it to 5 rounds, where it's normally like 40 or over 40 rounds, where they're taking people every minute of like the 3 days that they have it.
Yeah. And
the biggest mistake I did was I watched the draft. That was a big mistake.
Oh, man.
I watched the whole draft.
Uh-oh.
If you were me, my agent, my coach, everybody, scouts, calling me, hey, not going to be a problem. You're going to get taken. Like,
yeah. Well, it was supposed to be a slam dunk. So if you were going to watch one, that'd be the one to watch.
Yeah. And so they did it to 5 rounds. I was like, okay, like 5 rounds, not a lot, but like I still done my part. Like surely they'll pick me, and it didn't happen. And I was mind blown. I was at an all-time low after that last day, and I was just like, "You got to be kidding me!" Like, yeah. What's
I can imagine.
And then I get a call from, I got so many calls reaching out from scouts and my coach Curry again, saying not to worry. We still got free agency, which they also put a cap on that as well for money reasons.
Right.
And so I got like free agent day came around. There was like a day break after the draft, but free agent day came around. I got up at like 7, got coffee, sat in my dining room. Phone call started at 8, and I didn't get up from that dining room until about 6:30 with my decision. I didn't eat all day. I was taking phone calls, Zoom meetings, emails, notes. I didn't even get to all the teams, and I had every single team in my phone ready for me, sending me stuff, why they wanted me, all like the contracts, like everything, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable. Sir. It was absolutely unbelievable. So in that sense, I felt pretty good. Like I felt good. I was happy that they were wanting me, but at the same time, I'm like, should have drafted me, dude. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
And like the scouts, when I told them, so like I made my decision probably about 4 o'clock. And I took a few more phone calls from different teams after that to see what they had to say, whatever. the deal for money reason doesn't change. It's the same all across the board.
Across the board, yeah.
I got to handpick the team of where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was saying I didn't get to talk to all the teams, I had guys texting me, and I told them later that night that I didn't get to talk to them on the phone. I told them, I was like, hey, I've already made my decision. They were mad at me.
Just they didn't get a shot to pitch you at all, as far as their deal, huh?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, should have drafted me. I don't know what to say.
But now let me ask you this. There's a certain mentality. I've always said this, man. To be good at a professional sport, you got to be a little off. You got to be a little crazy, to perform at a high level. You got to look for things that provide chips on shoulders, take it personal. I mean, those things fuel athletes to perform at a higher level. I know it helped me out a lot when I knew I had something to prove. Does that work for you? Is that the situation where you're like, okay, I'm going to show all of you guys what y'all are missing? When you didn't draft me, I'm going to make you pay for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it fuels the fire, and to prove all the people that didn't take a chance on me. Not saying they're bad people or whatever. Love them, awesome. But thank y'all for not picking me. I'm gonna go out there and show y'all what you missed out on. So.
Light you up and wear you out every single time. Some people call that petty. Maybe that makes us petty a little bit. What do you think?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. That's all right. Okay.
Aspects.
So let me ask you this then. You made the choice. Why'd you choose KC?
Yeah. So at the time, I had to start clean slate. This is no favorites anyway. I don't have a favorite team. Mm-hmm. This is how I had to look at it. No favorite team. I had to pick where I'm going to get the most. Where I'm going to get the most out of, basically.
Yeah.
Like a freshman going to college. Can I start that first year? No.
Right.
The coach would be like, no, you're not going to start this first year. We got an older guy. Mm-hmm. So that's how I had to look at it. I got with my agent. He got me a list of basically all the catching prospects in every org. And the Royals were the lowest on the list. They didn't have anybody other than MJ Melendez. And it was between them or the Pirates. And I was like, I like the Royals. That's just I had a really good relationship with the scout in college. Really good relationship, and and they preached nothing but family.
Yeah,
we're not trying to sell you anything really. We're one big family. We're going to take care of you. And
there you go.
That's what told me. And
yeah, kind of similar to the Little Rock situation, huh?
Just exactly like it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's inspiring too, because we all got dreams to come up and do things at a professional level or just achieve anything, and then we get knocked down and you start to doubt a little bit. But right around the corner is another opportunity. You'll never fail if you don't quit. The only time you'll fail is if you quit. So if you keep going, eventually you're going to get it. You're going to get what you're looking for if you keep working at it and keeping that attitude. So, man, you're a living testament of it, man. That's pretty awesome. So okay. So now that weight's off your shoulders. 2020, you're signed. You're taking photos. Doing the social media thing. Awesome. Now what? When do you report? What happens? How do you get prepared for your first season of professional baseball?
So when we signed, COVID was still in the heat of everything. So Kansas City was one of the only teams, I think the only team that flew all the draftees and signees to the stadium and had a signing in person. They were the only team to do that. And just doing that shows a lot of respect for the players becoming part of the organization. So we went up there, we signed, we did all that, came back home, and then there was still a dead period where they didn't even know what was going to happen. We were having weekly Zoom meetings, just checking in, stuff like that, talking to people in the org, lifestyle habits, leadership, stuff like that. And then it came down, we were getting information that they were going to do an instructional league camp in Arizona at our spring training complex. And for people that don't know instructional league, it's basically a point in time where you're going to go there and you're going to practice. You're going to lift weights, you're going to run, you're going to do like baseball drills, you're going to hit the cages, and you might play an occasional game, like a real actual game every other day or whatever, 3 or 4 games a week.
Right.
For me, you can catch bullpens every day. Like you're going to work, like you're practicing every single day.
Yeah.
And a normal instructional league is only like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, this was our first taste of professional baseball. We went out there for over 2 months. We spent like 45 days there and had Halloween there.
Wow.
And this was like strict COVID protocol too. So like, we were in a hotel across the street from our complex with a roommate, and it was go to the field with your mask on. Yeah. You must have your mask in the locker room. That's all spread out. Everybody's spread out. People are outside in the hallways. You have to practice with your mask on. Like they gave you the gator bibs, like where you fish in and stuff.
Yeah. We
had that. And lifting in that. Oh my gosh. And then
oh man. Dude, you all look like Bane probably in there trying to live and get stronger.
It was strictly go there and go back to your room where we just played video games. And like
bubble style
food. We had 3 meals a day, and they would have it prepackaged in a meal prep container, and they drop it off at our room every day. In the hotel.
You think this will ever happen again? You're part of history. You're a part of history. Do you think that will ever happen again?
I hope not, but God, like
in our lifetime,
it's possible. I never would have imagined in a million years that this would be what would have done it. But I guess it could happen again. But
hey, you're a part of history, man.
And now it's like COVID's like not a thing now. It's
right. I've heard a thing. Somebody said COVID's not over just because you're over it. That's like, but yeah, it's a trip how that changes up, right? It's a trip how that changes up, man. That was a historic time. I can only imagine, man. You know, you mentioned draft day, and you know, I mean, you're one of my ex-students, man. I've always kept tabs on you, and so I'll text your mom and you know, say, hey, how's he doing? You know, I didn't really bother you too much, but and she kept me in the loop. You know, said nah, he's all right. You know, we got the free agent thing coming and all that. So I was glad to see you sign, and you know, still was unsure on how it was going to work out for you, just because there was so much uncertainty, you know, just in the world, period. We don't even know if there's going to be a season. So I'm glad that they were able to piece something together and didn't use it as an excuse to sit back. You know, they got after it, man, even if it meant put the mask on, you know, whatever, just get something going, you know. So that's I'm sure that helped you guys out a bit, you know, as far as getting you prepared, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so we're Royal now. I want you to take me through this, man, because this thing about the Field of Dreams. I watched that, and I'm like, I'm looking at the TV, and I'm like, does this guy even know what's going on, right? Do you realize what you're a part of? Like, you're a farmer, and you're in a cornfield. Like, this story. I almost think this is scripted, and like if a movie comes out in 10 years, we're gonna have a talk, man, because all these adversities and everything that's coming up, man, and then you end up on the Field of Dreams, and he's a farmer, and the whole thing, man. How was that experience, man? Just being on that stage,
dude. That stage was unbelievable. Like, words can't describe how like the magic feeling, and for people who've seen that movie.
Yeah. Oh my God.
When you go there,
dude,
got to tour like the real field and stuff. And the field we played on is just like 150 yards from that main field, from the movie field.
Right.
And right. Absolutely electric. And like, that was like, your first taste of being a big leaguer. Like that's what it feels like.
Yes.
That's what it was. And
that's
what
I wanted. Mm-hmm.
It was magical. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I saw some pictures. They had the whole production, and I'm like, man, this guy, you're looking away from the camera. I mean, big time stuff. I'm like, dude, he's in there now. This is the show right here. And this is a show right here, man. So you got to know that you're knocking on the door when you get a chance to get it. Now, was it just the luck of the draw that y'all just happened to be playing a team that was going to play there, or how did that work? How'd y'all get selected to play in that game?
They had already scheduled it the previous year, but they kept it a secret. Both sides had agreed, and the Field of Dreams agreed that they were going to host the first minor league game in history at the
dude.
And so
more history.
Yeah, they didn't release it for until we were in season that we were going to play there, I believe.
Yeah.
So nobody knew about it until a little bit, and then it was just unbelievable.
Dude, we're talking movie now, man. Movie time. I'll tell you what. Movie in 20 years. Who's playing you?
Oh, God! If Brad Pitt still looks the way he does, I
knew you were gonna say Brad Pitt from Fight Club. I knew it. I knew you were gonna say Brad Pitt. I knew that. Who's playing your girlfriend?
Huh? Who's playing girlfriend?
Yep.
Probably Margot Robbie.
Okay, you got Margot going on, and you have a sister. Who's playing your sister?
Angelina Jolie.
Oh, dude, you guys are like assassins, pretty much. You're making all superheroes, pretty much. All right, who's playing mom?
Oh, God.
Be careful on this one. You got to choose right. I threw this one on you. You wasn't ready for this question.
I would take the mom from Forrest Gump. I don't know.
Okay. I know her face. I don't know her name, but I think everybody's going to know who you're talking about. She's very, very aggressive and dedicated to her son. So that works out. And who's playing Big Papa, man? Big guy. Who's playing him?
Let's see. God, it's got to be somebody classy.
Okay. Classy for Pop. Let's see. Got to be big, though.
I don't know any of those older actors. I don't know.
To be continued. All right, man. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I don't know if you've thought about that. And when you do these interviews and you kind of retract, just your story, and you haven't even finished writing it yet, you're knocking on the doorstep of getting to where you're really getting ready to start that story. Because it's not enough to make it to the show. We're trying to be the best out there. We're trying to bring back some rings, all of that, man. So have you had time to, man, you're about to go to sleep and you look up at the ceiling. Have you daydreamed yet? Have you dreamed yet on what it's going to be like to walk on that field for the first time as a Major League Baseball player?
That's all I think about.
Really?
That's all I think about.
Oh man. I mean, how detailed are you? Are you picking out the tape that you're going to tape your wrist up with and the outfit? I mean, are you laying it out like the first day of school?
I wouldn't say into that detail, but I always tell my family, it's kind of crazy, and backing up to how you say you got to be a little crazy.
Yeah.
I always have the same reoccurring dream, and I always imagine myself rounding first base, in the show. I can feel it and taste it. I don't know. That's something that always happens.
Now, when that happens, you're going to be able to keep a straight face and keep it business, or you're going to smile, you think?
I'll probably smile.
I'm going to be looking.
My mom's going to be like, you better freaking smile.
I can't wait to see it, man. I know it's coming up. So that's the cool part, man. And that's the thing. We want to inspire the younger generation, man. It's like, hey, this is one of the guys from around the way, nothing crazy here, just putting in some hard work and watching what happens. And if it's meant for you, it's going to happen. So, man, that's big time. Now, let me ask you this. Have you gotten down to picking out that song, that walk-up song? Where are we at, man? What are we doing on this one?
I ended really well with Air Force Ones by Nelly.
Oh my God.
That might be my go-to from now on.
You have to. You've already said it now on the podcast. So now everybody's going to be waiting for that. You walk up to that plate. We got to hear Nelly, dog. That's before your time.
Like, do, 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 big boy.
Now, how do you know about that, man? That's before your time now. I was in college when that came out.
My sister, she knows. She's the one who cultured me, I would say.
There we go.
She put me in my clothes. She taught me how to talk to people, and we'll give that side of me to her. So,
all right, Kinsley got it handled. That's right. That's awesome. So okay, MLB walk-up song, at least for the first at bat. It's got to be Air Force Ones. Got to be Air Force Ones by Nelly. That'll work. And how proper would it be if your major league debut was in? Well, you can't do the walk-up song in St. Louis, so maybe they'll be playing against you. All right, Kansas City.
Yeah.
Then you definitely got to write the book and come up with the movie, man. If that happens, there's no excuse. No excuse. You got to do it. You got to do it, man. So let me ask you this, and we talked about this a little bit earlier. As far as watching the game, you're a YouTube guy. You mentioned some catchers that you kind of just idolized and just looked up to. This is the Mount Rushmore for Kale. Who's your Mount Rushmore as far as catchers are concerned? You can go back as far as you want. 4 greatest catchers of all time.
Say Yachty for sure.
Number 1?
Oh.
Ooh, you didn't know you had to put them in order. Well, who? Okay, if Yachty's okay,
I'd say Yachty's number 1. I'd say Yachty.
Okay, he's number 1. Why'd you say ooh though? Who's the other person that's going against Yachty that you had to think about?
Buster.
Buster okay. Yeah, clean. Okay.
I put Buster at 2.
Okay.
I put Jorge Posada at 3.
Now I gotta hear this. I have to hear how you're putting Jorge Posada. And this is the thing. I like Jorge Posada. I got to hear this, though. Explain that to me.
You can ask my mom. She has my coloring books from when I was a kid. My dream was to wear a Yankees pinstripe uniform. He's like the first Yankee catcher that I was able to watch. So he was like God at that point. And so
oh man, you got some history going on.
Gotta put him
up. Okay. You got one more.
God, I gotta give it to Salvi.
Okay.
Like I modeled myself off of him. Mm-hmm. I have to give it to Salvi. Yeah. Okay.
That's not a bad list, man. And I'll tell you what, you got some history. You know the game a little bit if you know Posada for sure. Mm-hmm. You know, that's old school right there. That's old school, but solid catcher
too. But like I haven't watched Pudge before.
Yeah.
I've only been able to watch like YouTube videos and stuff. So
yeah, man. Pudge was one of those guys that did some things before it became popular, like throwing the ball extremely hard. I mean, you didn't have guys gunning them like that back then. Now, I mean, it's just like pitching. You got guys, man, that are throwing 100 miles and sitting at 100 miles. I don't want to play now. I didn't mind playing when I did. You might see 95, 96. That's the closer. You guys got starters sitting at 100. But the crazy part about it is you guys still find a way to hit it. You still adapt. So that's the crazy part about it. It's becoming more common now, but I think the game is way more fierce, man. Now, Now, let me ask you this. With that being said, is there a pitch that you hate catching? Absolutely hate.
A splitter or a split change?
Yeah. Why? Because you know you got to block it?
You don't know what it's going to do. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
It's both ways. Man. Up, side, cut.
Yep.
So you do not know what it's going to do.
What's going to happen? The one I hated the most was a fastball from a lefty pitcher against a lefty hitter. Especially on the outside part of the plate, I absolutely hate it because you get caught in between that keep it in the box or just get your hand on the outside to make that catch, you know? Can't see. I hate it. I don't want to do it anymore. But see, I'm done. You get to work on that for me. So now let me ask you this, man. And we've gone through all the catching stuff. I want to get into your brand. I want to hear about Seams because, man, I've already told you on the personal side, I think it is an awesome concept. It's relatable. And I really couldn't believe that you know it hadn't been done, and it fits you. You know, it's something that fits you. You actually live that concept. So tell us a little bit about that brand, man.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny how I came up with it. I always wanted to be a business owner and start my own business. I didn't know if it was going to be a clothing line or cages. Like I didn't know. But in 2020, the COVID year, tons of downtime. What a more perfect opportunity to sit down, draw it out. How are we going to do it? And it was mainly like me and my girlfriend, like how we did it.
Yeah.
Because she was in the same process. She was starting a boutique with her sister. So we kind of we played with it on both sides of it and kind of walked with each other through it. But it's kind of funny how I came up with Seams. I was plowing that day and on the tractor. And for anybody who's ever been on a tractor like that, you're sitting in a square, AC, radio, nice, but the tractor drives itself. You're just sitting there, like tons of time to think. So I'm sitting. I could still picture to this day. I was on this one field by our house, whatever. And I was saying, okay, I'm going to do hats, shirts, shorts. I want to do like an athletic apparel. I want to do it kind of like Lululemon is kind of the quality of stuff that I want to get to. Where do I see it go in the future? I want it to be a full complex, never seen before in the state of Texas. Like I want it to be state of the art, huge, whatever. That's the end goal. That's years from now. So how am I going to get there? First, I need a name. Then I start thinking, okay, baseball, obviously play baseball. I got to relate it to that somehow. And then I start like thinking like 4 seams, 2 seams, like seams. It's seams. It's short, sweet. It's
clean.
Perfect. Clean.
Yes, sir.
And text my mom immediately. Hey, Seams. That's it. It's just that's going to be the name. It's Seams. So, okay. Yeah. Cool. Text my girlfriend. Seams. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I get on. I start doing research on trademarks, and I trademarked it that day. It was like $400. Nobody had it. Trademark it that day. Then I start I get home. You know, I don't know if anybody else gets in this state of mind, but you get in a business habit or a business mentality, and maybe that's the athlete in me. But I start thinking about stuff. And I've designed all my stuff, slogan, design, the home plate, everything. I've designed it. I got drawings in my iPad for days. On concepts and stuff.
Yes, sir.
And so sat down. I didn't come up with the slogan for another month or two while I was at Instruct, the 2-month-long Instructs. That's where I came up with the slogan. I was getting ready to take a shower after practice, and I was thinking about it. I was brainstorming. I was got to have a slogan. And just thought of that. Nothing grand at all. Trademark that.
There you go.
And then I'm okay, well, now I need to start okay, what am I going to put on a shirt? People need to know what it is. And then I start thinking home plate. That's what I know best. I'm a catcher, and I could put the baseball seams down the middle. That would be kind of sleek and pretty cool. Yes, sir. Drew it out, whatever, and then lo and behold, I ordered my first. I believe I did hats first. The hats I still have to this day.
You got one there?
Yeah.
Come on, brother. We got to see this. I thought you'd have a seam sweatsuit on.
No. So, not these colors, but the patches itself. This was the first order that I've
First
ever
order.
placed for seams. I only did like 10 hats or whatever, see how it comes out.
Just that, yeah.
And so yeah, it came out really good. I sold them like within 2 days to all my buddies. They were like, "Yeah, we love the leather. Like that's so cool."
It's sharp, man. Yeah.
And so
you got something. You got something. It's sharp. It's very sharp.
take
Yes,
that money,
sir.
buy more. Take that money, buy more. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, start thinking about shirts.
Yep.
And yeah, start throwing designs around on the shirts, and people like the
Yep.
shirts. And you know, it's a ladder system. It takes a lot of time,
Yep.
a lot of money,
Mhm.
and it's hard. Like people think it's easy,
Yeah.
but
Business is tough.
really hard.
Well, and here's the thing: you got to be prepared for growth. What happens when we put this out and 500 people want shirts now?
Yeah, that's a problem that I'm gonna have right now. I mean,
That's a good problem.
and that was like the business side of it.
Yeah.
I wanted to buy every size of every shirt in multiple colors.
Right.
But like when you're on a minor league paycheck,
Yeah.
and if I would have been drafted and made
Sure.
a lot of money, I probably would have done it like that.
Yeah. But I think it's smarter. Yeah, it's safer this way and it's smarter.
A little more sweetness in the mouth when you run out of stock. You doubled your money.
That's
you
right.
buy more.
There's nothing wrong with running out of. There you go. There's nothing wrong with running out of stock and having back order. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's right, man. That's awesome. So you're a young man, you know, pursuing a career and also doing the business side as well, man. That is something that needs to be preached, man, because, you know, the younger guys coming up and now with the NIL stuff and all that, more people have been, you know, thinking about ways to monetize and you know, offer their brand. But it's one thing saying it, it's another thing doing it, man. You got to roll your sleeves up and get after it. The fun part is the sales and promoting. The tough part is sitting up until midnight trying to come up with a slogan or design and watching YouTube videos on how to create a design and, you know, XYZ. So the hardest part, though, you have already. You have the brand. You have a concept. That's as simple as that, man. You know, you got that part. Yeah. Yep. So that's good. That's good, man. So let me ask you this: as far as Seams gear, where do we find it? How do we get it?
Yeah, so you can go to my social media, my personal, it's on there, or you can go to Seams Apparel on any social media page. We got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even TikTok. If we do have a website at www.seamsapparel.com.
Okay, and just spell it for me. Spell it out for me, just to make sure everybody got it for the radio.
Seams is SEAMS. Apparel is APPAREL.
All right, good deal, man. So we're almost done. We're gonna wrap this up. I got a segment that I want to do, especially for my guys that are on their way. You know, you're on your way. I want you look in the camera and you give yourself a message 5 years from now. 5 years from now, talk to yourself, because in 5 years we're gonna play it.
Okay, Kale. Congratulations, bro. You made it. Sitting here with Eddie, having this podcast, first one ever. We're excited for where this is going and just want to say good job, and all the hard work's paying off, and you're there, bro.
Yes, sir. Awesome, man. 5 years, we're going to play it back on this date. That's awesome, man. You got any messages for your fans? Anything you want to deliver to the people following?
Thank you for everybody, all the support. It's always awesome coming home for the off season. Everybody who's been watching my mom's Facebook and shouting me out, and it's really appreciated, and it fuels me to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing. So thank you for everything, and thank you, Eddie, for having me on here.
Oh man,
I always like talking about baseball and the story and where it's going and where it's headed. So
yeah, man, I had a great time, man, and we'll do it again. Where can people find you on social media? How can they follow you personally?
Yeah, just look up my name, Kale, Kale, and then Emshoff, EMSHOFF. You should.
All right. Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate your time, and man, we'll be doing some big things together in the future, man. But I appreciate you. Thank you again. Hey, love to the family, and you know, much success to you, man. We'll be looking and rooting for you, and waiting to celebrate with you. All right.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Henry.
All right, man. Take care.